we've done the work. We've done the work breakdown structure. We've done the network diagram. Now it's time for us to actually put all that work into something tangible that we can use throughout the project. And that is building out our project schedule or our project plan. Basically, is what we're going to use to guide ourselves throughout the entirety of our work, from the start of our project all the way until we finish and publish the book and close it. So, what we're going to do is first I want to show you all the template that I use for my projects to plug in all my tasks and the start and end dates and how I track the work. And then once we look at that, then we'll come back to talk about it. And then I'll jump in and we'll look at what I've done for the Curses novella project that we've been working on together. So let's go and hop into it. Okay, so here on the screen you see that we have an empty project plan template. This is one that I built in Excel, mainly because I've gone through several iterations of these, but this is the most recent one that I feel really works and captures what I want to track when I'm working on a project. So you'll see we have some headers up here. We have the WBS, which is just the number that I assign to each item to help me just better keep track of things. Then we have the task name, the start date, the end date, the estimated time to complete, and then the forecasted work for each task. Now, this is a good way to check my work to make sure that what I'm plugging in these weeks adds up correctly to what the estimated time is. So basically, I'm going to plug in stuff here in each week for each task, and if it does not add up to, if the forecast does not add up to the ETC, then I did something wrong. So this is the project plan. So this is what I'm going to baseline. So lock in essentially. So I'm going to fill this in, and this is going to be like my source of truth. The second tab is the project execution tab. Now this one is where I'm going to be tracking the work as I go. So you'll see that I have some of the same headers. I have the WBS for the WBS number, as well as the task name, but you'll see that I've added some as well. So we have the percent complete, which is where I'm tracking how much of it is actually done. Okay, so you'll see for the status, there's nothing here yet. So what I forgot to do for this is I forgot to create the dropdown. So easy way to create a dropdown is you create a separate tab and you type out what the dropdown is for. So this is the status dropdown. I create a space and then I create my options. So I have not started. Actually, I'll just leave it blank. So I have in progress, delayed, complete. Okay, and so I go to project execution and I go to status, and then you go to the data field in Excel, and you go to data validation, and you go to list, and then for source, you just click on this right here, you go to your sheet, and you click on the blank, drag down until you get to your last option, and then just hit enter. And then make sure that it's capturing the right cells. It is, and you hit OK. And then now you have a drop down. And then you just take this and drag it all the way down to the bottom. So you'll see that I have about 250 cells for this template. Typically, most of my projects do not have more than 250 tasks. If yours does, it's very easy. Just simply go in here, insert. Very simple solution. All right, so we have status, then you have start date, end date, etc. And here's a new one that I created, progress. What this does is that this is basically going to calculate where we are in terms of this task. So here we have the actuals tab, the actual cell. What this does is this is going to add up the work that is actually being done week by week. So in these cells, I'm going to track exactly how much work I'm actually doing. And then that's going to add up into this actuals tab, which is going to subtract from the estimated time to complete. So we're going to see this in action when I show you the project plan for the curses story. And so this is the basic setup. Now, what do I do with this information? Well, you'll see this tab over here that says heat map. Heat map is basically going to show me where I'm running hot. So you'll see right now everything is set to 0 because there's nothing in here. But when I start putting stuff in here, you'll see that my capacity baseline in terms of the capacity that I can devote to each week is set at 20 hours. That is historically what I have been able to manage without affecting my personal life and my day job. So basically 20 hours a week is what I can manage. When I get to 20 hours or more, this is going to go from green to red. And as I get closer to 20, it's going to go from green to yellow. And this is going to show me in my planning phase, where am I running hot? So I can then decide, okay, do I move stuff around to make it less strenuous? And then this bottom one is for my actuals. So this is going to show me like what I'm actually doing. Am I actually running hot or am I actually running below? Like, am I being really efficient or am I not being efficient? This is going to give me a snapshot of where I'm at so I know where to adjust. So that kind of a template, it is easy to use once you get it set up. For me, I just have it saved as a file marked as template. And then when I need it, I open it up and then just immediately save as the name of my project that I'm working on and then jump right into it. The work to set it up is a little bit involved. It does require using some formulas and just a lot of formatting. Uh, I can do a video on how I did that. I am possibly going to make this available on my website. I haven't decided yet, but it's not difficult to set up if you're familiar with using Excel or like Google Sheets. Of course, there are programs that can do this for you if you're looking for more of kind of like a plug and play format. What I want to do now is let's go ahead and hop into what I built with this template for the Curses novella project that we've been working on. And I'm really excited to show you how this kind of a tool can work for authors to help you stay organized, but also just to save you a little bit of your sanity. So let's take a look at what's going on, and then we'll come back and then just kind of regroup before we wrap this video up. As you can see, this is a completed project schedule. You'll notice that we have put all of the tasks that we identified in our work breakdown structure and built out in our network diagram have been placed into this project plan in order based upon the dates that we plugged in when we did that diagram last time. And you'll see that we also have put in the hours that we put in for the estimated time to complete. And then we have our forecast column. And you'll see that we have dates plugged into these weeks, and I have changed the headers from week 1 and week 2 to the actual start dates for each week. So you'll see that we have the 15th of June, the 22nd of June, and so forth, all the way until the very last week of the project. Okay, and you see that how I structure this is I like to use the indent feature to show parent-child relationships. So you'll see that pre-production is that second level work package, and then we have it broken down into the set up the word tracker, the research, and then the outline workbook, the character design, the structure workbook, world building, and then broken down into the third level of like breaking down the research to the religious deities, the curses, mythological beings, and so forth. And so and that goes all the way down to the very last task. And you'll see that we only have about 102 rows for the entire project. So definitely don't need that 250 lines that I created. One thing that I do is that down at the bottom of the 250 lines, we have everything added up down here. So this is the total numbers that we're doing at the end of each week in terms of work being done. And you're seeing some numbers here. Some of these are exceeding 20. So let's take a look at our heat map and see where we're at. Yikes. Okay, so we see already that there is some room to make some changes to make things a little easier on me. You'll see that for the first several weeks, I'm running a little bit hot. Uh, the first week, can't really do anything about because the week's almost over. And so, yeah, uh, some of this stuff probably going to get pushed forward, but the coming weeks, a lot of this stuff has some slack. I'm probably going to move some stuff forward uh, to these weeks where I'm running a lot cooler, where I'm at 10 or 2 hours, 8 hours, 7 hours of work in that week. So because I did the network diagram and I know what my slack is, I have some flexibility. So of course you see that the actuals is all at 0 because I haven't done anything yet that I've tracked at least. So looking at our project execution tab, you'll see that I have everything set up here. And then I added 2 columns. I added a slack column, a remaining slack, in addition to the ETC, the progress, and the actuals. Now, what this is doing is I've set this up that if I change this date, it's going to check against the date that is on the baseline and then adjust the slack. So the slack for this, so for setting up the word tracker is 242. So let's say that I didn't do this until March 1st of 2027. So that automatically brings my slack down to 152. Now, one thing that I wasn't able to program into Excel is what are the downstream effects. So if I take slack off of this one, it may have an impact on the downstream tasks that are dependent upon this task. So that's something that I would have to go and check out the network diagram to confirm. I don't believe that anything is downstream on this one that is critically dependent upon it. So I don't think it would have any effects that would move dates. But if it's something like that's on the critical path, like we know that the research is on the critical path, if I take the slack off of this, if it goes too much further down, it may impact the rest of them and decrease the slack on them. So that's something that we do have to take into account. Let me adjust this back to what it was, and then we have this back down. So let's actually do this. So let's say that we took religious deities and we brought that forward. So we didn't finish that until August. So let's say August 15th. Oh, so now we are negative slack. That means that we are now behind, which is going to impact the rest of these and put them behind as well. So something to keep in mind. Fix that. Thank God for the undo button. Okay, so as I start tracking work, so this week I have done some research for the religious deities. I've done about 9 hours of research this week on the religious deities. So I type that in here, and then pops in 9 hours of my actuals, shows that my progress is that I have 16 hours left on this body of work. I still have my slack, and when we look at our heat map, shows that I am at 9 for the week. And so let's see, what else did we have to work on this week? Oh yes, our character design. I have done not as much work on this week. The week is almost over. It's Thursday when I'm recording this. So a lot of my character background work I do not at my desk. It's a lot of work on my phone where I'm just like writing down stuff as I'm watching TV and getting ideas. So I expect I will be able to work a lot on this over the weekend. I've done like maybe an hour of it so far. So I'm going to log the hour right here. And so back to the heat map. So yes, I'm at 10. I am probably going to push some of this work over to the next week. So yes, this is going to help me keep things very organized. I highly recommend doing this for your projects, for when you do your book planning. If anything, it keeps me sane because I am no longer freaking out about all the stuff that I have to do and worrying that I'm behind. I can look at my project plan and see whether or not I'm actually behind. And typically, if I am behind, I'm not behind on as much as I'm thinking I am. So, highly recommend this as a tool for any author when they're planning out their books, whether you're going to be self publishing or even traditional publishing. This is a godsend that I strongly recommend taking advantage of. All right, so I'm hoping that you guys are seeing how a tool like this can benefit you as an author in terms of helping to streamline your work, in terms of managing it. I'm not saying it's going to make writing easier, but it is going to take stress off of you when it comes to the other parts of of creating a book and publishing it. So while you're drafting, you're not having to also worry about like when is this going to get done, when is that going to get done. Having it all laid out in a project plan or a project schedule like this, it's going to help give you peace of mind so that when you're drafting, you can focus on drafting and know that the rest of the work is planned and you know when you're going to get to it. And I think that's what this offers the most to authors, is that peace of mind to know that stuff is getting covered, stuff is getting done, and you can focus on writing when it's time to write or edit. So, with anything I share, all I ask is that you consider it and then take what works for you. Whatever doesn't, leave it. I'm not going to be offended. I'm just wanting to share what I've learned when I combined what I know from project management and my experience in the business world and my MBA program, and how it benefited me as an author. And maybe you'll find some value in it. Maybe it'll help you. Maybe not. I just want to share. And so I hope that you will take some value from this and join me next time. I believe next time we're probably going to jump into talking about building a project budget and how that can help you to plan ahead and also set your mind at ease and just be realistic with your goals. So until then, I will see you next week and happy planning.